Hello everybody, I hope your semester's going well. Today I'm going to talk about GLP-1 receptor agonist applications in weight loss, and I'm Ben. So what are GLP-1 receptor agonists? If you can see on that image on the right, there's been a lot of hype in the media in terms of this new secret weight loss medication. Um, and GLP-1s have been around for a while for diabetes primarily. So what does it stand for? GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. It's an incretin hormone that's actually secreted naturally in the ileum and the colon. But they've actually found that individuals with diabetes have low levels of GLP-1 running, and so that's part of the equation in terms of what can cause some dysregulation with blood sugars is having a low GLP-1 level. They've actually shown that these medications, so the synthetic version of GLP-1s, are more resistant to degradation in the colon and enzyme activity, things like that, and so they can sustain a longer period of activity, making them resistant to, or making it so you can actually dose it only once a week, for example, is kind of the common treatment pattern for most of these. From a diabetic standpoint, they're currently recommended as second-line therapy after metformin for type 2 diabetes. In fact, there is some research out there saying that with some of the additional benefits that they're finding with GLP-1s, that they should be even recommended as a first-line therapy for type 2 diabetes. They have been shown to reduce A1C levels by 0.8 to 1.6%. So really encouraging finding as we're going through some of the research, which we'll get into. There are additional benefits that they've associated with GLP-1s, so the FDA actually recently approved them for both heart health as well as renal benefits. They did a few randomized trials over the span of 4 years covering 20,000 participants, and that's how they gained the FDA approval for these medications. So they did see improvements in blood pressure, arterial vasodilation, recovery from ischemia, and improvements in myocardial function from the heart health standpoint. And then from a kidney standpoint, they found a reduction in new onset albuminuria from taking a GLP-1. So they're indicated for both of those reasons on top of the diabetes as well. Now, research also corroborates the effects on weight loss, which is what we're going to spend most of our time talking about today. But first, a little background on GLP-1s. So exenatide Byetta was the first GLP-1 approved in 2005 by the FDA. But basically, since that time, there's just been one after another coming into the market, which increases the availability, but also limits us because we don't have as much research on some of these more new medications. So we're going to talk a little bit on how that's kind of built up over the years. But we've got a few of the medications that are currently available here, but even since then, GLP-1s have been added to the system. So when we're looking at how GLP-1s facilitate weight loss, there's a number of different theories, a lot of different ways that researchers say, that these medications are causing weight loss. So the first one here is autonomic responses in the hypothalamus. They've described this as an incretin effect, where basically they're proliferating pancreatic beta cell activity and sensitivity to glucose. So seeing some improvements in reduced hunger, improved satiety from some of these effects that they're looking at. They've also noted delayed gastric emptying as kind of a mechanism for facilitating weight loss. And then some individuals who take GLP-1s do have nausea, which can also result in some weight loss. However, they did say that is not the main thing that's causing weight loss, making people sick, and that documented weight loss was definitely found for many individuals who did not experience nausea. So let's jump into some of these trials that have been done over the years. Tracing back to 2012, this was a meta-analysis by Visval et al. This meta-analysis compared exenatide and liraglutide, which were some of the earlier GLP-1s in the market. It covered 20 weeks, but did include individuals that both did and didn't have diabetes, which was somewhat of a limitation. So just kind of the dated, the fact that this study was done quite a while ago and that it did include individuals with diabetes was somewhat of a limitation. But they did find, an overall weight loss of, I think it was 2.9 kilograms over the control group from the use of GLP-1. This takes us to a 2015 systematic review by Zheng et al. This one Also included exenatide and liraglutide, so those earlier GLP-1s, but only looked at individuals who did not have diabetes. So this one was looking specifically for weight loss, and in fact, they also studied and found improvements in waist circumference and other anthropometric measurements to further corroborate in their health promoting effects of GLP-1s. This one was limited because they included trials that were a shorter period of time, so anything that was 12 weeks and over. So that was a potential limitation, and again, this one didn't look at some of the additional GLP-1s that are currently on the market. So next we'll jump to 2018. This was a randomized controlled trial by O'Neill et al. And this is one that brought in semaglutide in the mix. And semaglutide is probably the most popular one right now. It has been shown to be the most effective at promoting weight loss and has several other advantages compared to some of the other ones that we're looking at. So semaglutide did, I think it was about 11.9% reduce body weight, if not a little bit more, in their higher dosage groups. So this was a quality study. However, it still just did include these two GLP-1s, and the research does need to be ongoing. So the one that I want to kind of finish up with was the SURMOUNT-1 trial. It was a randomized controlled trial, included over 2,500 participants, and this one was a doozy. Looking at tirzepatide, so again, this one was approved in May of this year, and for diabetes specifically, but the weight loss that they were able to achieve from this medication was pretty astounding. We'll talk about some of the findings on the next slide. Limitations of this study, however, were that only about 5% of the individuals that were included had a BMI less than 30, so it couldn't be necessarily generalized to individuals with a BMI between 25 to 30, for example. But overall, it had a great completion rate, pretty good sample size, and pretty good in terms of applications to other populations. So what did this study find? Overall percent weight change in body weight from baseline. So at the lowest dose of tirzepatide, they found individuals on average lost 15% of their body weight, which that was about equal to the highest dose of semaglutide. So they found the lowest dose of tirzepatide was equal to the highest dose of semaglutide in terms of effectiveness at weight change. The middle dose of tirzepatide, or 10 milligrams, resulted in a 19.5% reduced body weight, and then the highest dose was 20.9% body weight loss, compared to the 3.1% weight loss from a placebo. So again, very significant weight loss. And I love this graph on the right, looking at what percentage of participants met their weight reduction targets. So for individuals who lost more than 5% of their body weight, just about 90% across dosages lost 5% of their body weight. For the 10% or more body weight, 68 to 83% of individuals lost 10% of their body weight by taking tirzepatide. 48 to 70.6% lost 15% or more of their body weight. 30 to 56% lost 20% or more of their body weight, and 15 to 36.2% of individuals lost 25% or more of their body weight, which that kind of blows me away, right? On that biggest dose of tirzepatide, 36.2% of the study participants lost 25% or more of their body weight. That kind of just blows me away. So pretty encouraging and pretty promising when we're looking at this application in terms of weight loss therapy. How does it exist to what we already have? So there are a few weight loss medications that have been around for years and years, especially orlistat, but there's a few other ones that have kind of come and gone throughout the years. But research has shown that cumulatively these medications will give us about 5 to 10%, and that's a little bit generous when we're pairing them with lifestyle changes. Some of these medications that are used are often short-term. It can only be used for a short amount of time because of side effects and other limitations. There are also more contraindications for many individuals with heart disease or with other conditions that limits them from taking what's available currently. So GLP-1 in this market offers several advantages over these other weight loss medications, and on top of that does provide some glucose lowering benefits, cardiovascular benefits, and kidney health. So kind of to conclude things, we do need more safe and effective weight loss medications to address obesity in the nation. GLP-1 receptor agonists have demonstrated the ability to provide this long-term weight loss and improve glycemic control and other health markers along the way. More research is needed to kind of provide a better foundation where these are a little bit of a newer medication, especially these ones that have been approved just in the last year or two. However, hopefully as things progress, coverage options and accessibility will improve over time and make this more available to individuals that need it to improve their health and reach a healthy weight. Here we've got a little breakdown on my references, and thank you for listening in.